During the Second World War, the Mauthausen concentration camp in Austria became one of the most notorious and brutal of all the Nazi camps. Perched on a hill above the small town of Mauthausen, it was built near a granite quarry, that became both a place of labour and of death. Within this quarry stood one of the most infamous features in the entire concentration camp system, the Stairs of Death. These steep, uneven steps symbolised the cruelty of the Nazi forced labour system, where men were literally worked to death. Understanding how the Stairs of Death worked reveals not just the physical suffering of the prisoners, but also the deliberate psychological torture designed to break the spirits. Mauthausen was established in August 1938, shortly after Austria was annexed by Nazi Germany. It was the first major concentration camp built outside Germany's pre-war borders. Unlike some camps that initially focused on political prisoners or minority groups, Mauthausen was designated a Grade 3 camp, meaning it was intended for prisoners the Nazis considered incorrigible, people who were to be worked to death through hard labour. The camp's location was chosen because of its nearby granite quarry. The Nazi SS, working with a company called Deutsche Erd- und Steinwerke GmbH DEST, wanted to exploit prisoner labour to extract stone for building grand Nazi structures, including parts of Hitler's planned rebuilding of Berlin. To the SS, prisoners were expendable resources, cheap, replaceable, and destined to die. By 1940, Mauthausen had become the central camp of a large network, with more than 40 subcamps scattered across Austria. Its prisoners included Jews, political opponents, Soviet POWs, Spanish Republicans, and many others from across occupied Europe. At its peak, Mauthausen held around 85,000 prisoners, though total deaths are estimated at around 90,000 over the course of the war. At the heart of the Mauthausen complex was the Wiener Graben quarry, a deep pit surrounded by rocky cliffs. The only way in and out was a steep stone staircase, later nicknamed the Stairs of Death. These stairs were built by the prisoners themselves, without proper tools, using uneven rocks cut from the quarry. There were 186 steps, though accounts vary because the steps were irregular, and over time the structure was rebuilt and modified. The climb rose sharply, over 30 metres from the quarry floor, to the top of the camp. For prisoners forced to work there, this staircase became an instrument of daily torture. Every morning, prisoners were driven from their barracks into the quarry. Armed SS guards, often accompanied by dogs, shouted orders as men lined up in columns. The prisoners had to carry heavy blocks of granite, often weighing between 40 and 50 kilograms, that's 90 to 110 pounds, on their shoulders or backs up the steep and slippery steps. In summer the heat was blistering. In winter, ice made the steps treacherous. Prisoners wore thin striped uniforms and wooden clogs that offered no grip or protection. Many collapsed under the strain, and when they did, the guards showed no mercy. The system of the Stairs of Death was deliberately designed to kill. It wasn't just labour, it was punishment disguised as work. Prisoners would often make dozens of trips up and down the stairs in a single day. SS overseers forced them to race and beat anyone who lagged behind. If a prisoner stumbled and dropped his stone, others behind him could be crushed by the falling block. Sometimes guards pushed men deliberately, setting off stone avalanches that sent dozens tumbling down together. Survivors recalled hearing bones crack and skulls split open on the jagged rocks. There was also a notorious ledge at the top of the quarry known as the Parachutes Wall. Exhausted or broken prisoners were sometimes ordered to stand at the edge and were either pushed off by the guards or told to jump to their deaths. SS men joked that they were testing parachutes. Others were shot for sport or set upon by dogs. Eyewitnesses described how new arrivals quickly realised that the stairs meant death. Prisoners who worked in the quarry rarely survived more than a few weeks. The physical toll of starvation, exhaustion, disease and abuse was overwhelming. At the end of the day, prisoners had to climb the stairs once more, often empty-handed, but dragging the bodies of those who had died below. The corpses were piled near the camp gates before being taken to the crematorium. The cruelty of the Stairs of Death was not only physical but psychological. Guards used it to destroy the prisoners' morale. The stairs became a symbol of hopelessness, an endless climb with no reward, no purpose and no end in sight. Survivors recall being forced to sing cheerful songs as they carried their stones, or to shout slogans praising Hitler. SS men would mock them, saying they were helping to build the new Germany. Some prisoners were told that if they could carry the heaviest stones to the top, they might earn better treatment, but such promises were lies. The terror was made worse by the random nature of the killings. A guard's whim could mean life or death. Some guards bet on how many prisoners would collapse before reaching the top. Others staged cruel games, making prisoners swap stones or run races up the stairs. The system worked as intended. It broke men's bodies and spirits. As one survivor later said, you could see it in their faces. By the time they reached the top, many were already dead inside. When American forces liberated Mauthausen on the 5th of May 1945, they found a scene of horror. Thousands of corpses lay piled up, and the survivors were skeletal, barely able to stand. The quarry was littered with the remains of stones, tools, and the shattered steps that had claimed so many lives. After the war, the site was preserved as a memorial. The stairs of death were left largely intact. Today, visitors to Mauthausen can still walk the same steps, though they now lead to a quiet, green valley rather than a place of terror. Climbing them is a powerful experience. Each step represents the suffering of thousands of people who were forced to endure unimaginable hardship. Post-war trials held at Dachau and elsewhere brought some of Mauthausen's perpetrators to justice. Camp Commandant Franz Ziereis was captured and killed in 1945, while other SS guards and officers were executed for war crimes. Yet for many survivors, justice could not truly match the scale of the cruelty they had witnessed. Today, the Stairs of Death stand as one of the most haunting symbols of the Holocaust. They are not just a physical reminder of suffering, they show how a regime could turn industrial labour into a machine of murder. Mauthausen's quarry was not designed to be efficient, it was designed to be deadly. The Nazis could have moved the stone using trucks or cranes, but they chose human suffering instead. The stairs became a slow-motion execution ground, one that relied on exhaustion, starvation and despair, rather than bullets or gas chambers. Each visitor who walks those 186 uneven steps is reminded of the cruelty that human beings are capable of inflicting when ideology and hatred take hold. The Stairs of Death are not just history, they are a warning. They show that even ordinary places, like a quarry on a hillside in Austria, can become sites of extraordinary evil when humanity is stripped away. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.